It's not a rhetorical flourish, it's not a partisan statement to say that Trump's nominee will not be committed to ensuring our most basic and fundamental rights: the right to privacy, reproductive rights, the right to vote, the right to marry who you love, and even equal justice under the law. Perhaps what's most worrisome is that the president has made clear that whomever he nominates to the Supreme Court will be in favor of striking down the Affordable Care Act. With the court hearing yet another challenge to the ACA on November 10th, it's not an exaggeration to say that the law will likely be gutted. It is a real risk. And let's be clear about what this means. The whole architecture of our healthcare system could be destroyed during the worst public health crisis in a century. This will, of course, disproportionately impact our most vulnerable communities, communities of color, low income, Indigenous, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian communities. We're talking about repealing Medicaid expansion, the policy that allows people under the age of 26 to stay on their parents' health insurance, and most importantly, protections for pre-existing conditions. Now, let's be clear about this, too. If you got COVID, you now have a pre-existing condition. So if you got COVID because of President Trump's inaction, and if his nominee is confirmed to the Supreme Court, your insurance company will be permitted to kick you off of your health care plan, or at least increase your rates so high that you can't afford coverage. Ripping away health care from at least 20 million Americans and denying coverage to people with pre-existing conditions is a crazy and horrific thing to do in normal times. But it's particularly cruel during a pandemic that's already claimed the lives of more than 200,000 Americans, especially because despite the recent promises and despite the endless promises from both the president and members of the Republican Party, they have no alternative health care plan. We cannot and must not impose this catastrophe on the American people. Mr. President, in moments where our country feels torn apart, the traditional role of the Senate was supposed to be to calm tensions and solve our problems. But instead of dealing with the tough issues, the majority leader and the Republican Party are going to inflict procedural violence on the legislative branch. Many Republicans pre-announcing their support for the nominee without even knowing who she or he may be.